And our degree got everything to do with optimization. Be specific.
Graphical analysis.
Huh?
Graphical analysis. Some type of
So what kind of analysis?
graphical.
Graphical analysis. Then, and what does graphical analysis really mean? Yeah.
Identifying probability based on certain situations.
Good. And first thing first, okay, if I have certain measurement, and usually we talk about those measurements in your experimental design or regression, is a real number, and usually means distance. So it's sum of squared. Sum of squared distance. Why? Because of Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we can use that to build gradient and everything. But more advanced level of statistics or probability, we use count or relative frequency, or use, how many of you have Markov chain? So it's probability of something translated to something. So Markov chain can be expressed as like a graph models too. So now, why I'm saying this is fundamentally, okay? You got to have this kind of big picture in mind, because I believe your generation, you have to deal with probability statistics for the rest of your life. And so the sooner you have a good comprehension of, oh, no big deal, it's the same things, the better for your career path and everything. Okay? And the way how I would like you to see it is this way. Okay? First, you will have some, I don't know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, representing cloudy, not cloudy. Simon is happy, Simon's not happy. The weather is cold, not cold. Some measurement of some sort. Okay? And at least in this class, we usually go for some 1, 2, 3 value. So it could be a bunch of 1, and then a bunch of 0. Okay, 1 means something, 0 means something. I don't know. But basically, you define the meaning from your data. From X-ray shows there's a white spot, and then the white spot means calcifications of some soft tissue. And why you have that? Because you smoked when you were little, or something, right? So the next one could be, or 1 means one thing, and 0 means something else. So you will have a bunch of 1 and 0. Okay, and finally, who said, here, in experimental design, how many of you have experimental design? Yeah, experimental design, how many levels can you have? High, low. So can you have high, low, medium? And why not?
Yes, we could have any number.
You can have any level, but usually 3 level means there is a nonlinear behavior. Because linear, then adding another point is wasting your money, wasting your time. Right? So you add 1 more, means there is something going up and coming down, or going down and coming up. So if that's the case, can you have some variable as 1, 2, 3? So I can have something like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 level, and go all the way to the end. Okay? Oh, it doesn't give me that pleasure. And then I can also have some things 1, 1, 1, or 1, 0, or 1, or 2, or whatever. So there's 7 variables, or I don't know, this many variable, high level, low level, medium level, yada yada, going on. Okay, and these things in your experimental design will be what? A bunch of measurement. All right, the measurement will be some real number, based on distance, based on height, and the observations. And let's just say that measurement is this value. And you can have repetitions. I measure this 4 times, or I measure them 4 times in 2 blocks. Measure this first, and then measure this in the first block, in the second block. Can you do that? Yeah, so in your experimental design, in reality, you already have a graph. That graph, you just care about some measurement, and you said, oh, based on this measurement, is the sum of square very, very far apart, and under some conditions, very, very close. So if I want to have a big improvement, I want that some combination give me the big value, right? So experimental design could be a graph too. But in this class, we're not saying that. We're saying that everything is a probability. So we have a probability here, and this probability, no matter the number is, I know that this number at the end, since it's all the number, the sum of every possible combination, okay? So this could be 2 by 3 by 3 by 4 by 2, I don't care how many levels. But sooner or later, sum up all the conditions you can have. The total value should equal to what? 1, right? Basically said, this condition I have 2%. That condition I have 3%. So technically speaking, we could just say that, let me figure out what is the most likely situation. So that's the reason we calculate that probability. But when we calculate that probability with this many variables, you get into the NP complete nightmare. N level, P parameter. So it's P times P times P times P, I don't know. Say I have 3 level here, 3 level here, 3 level here. The total experiment design will be 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 by, I don't know, 8 times. So 3 to the 8 times. How many? 3 level by 8 times. How many observation I need for one observation, one trial? 6,561 observation needed. You like that? No, right? And what's or computation for every probability? You don't like that. In your experimental design, what do? You start doing fractional design, fractional factorial design, right? You basically said that, here's the lump, the chunk I really need to know. Here's the chunk I can ignore, and I ignore those things I don't care. I keep those things I care in the graph, right? And in the Bayesian network, sooner or later, we're doing the same things. We basically said that the computation is a nightmare. Can I find a way to find a causal structure? Okay, and so actually I don't like to say graph. I like to say causal structure. Okay, there's a causal structure. Bayesian network. Okay, and if you okay, and then you will see a graph like this. Some is the root cause, some is the final effect, and you start building this, organize those 7 into some, or 4 or 5 into something like this. And of course, in the next 2 weeks, we basically need to say that what's the benefit organized in this way. And I think based on what I see Dr. Shu's class, what he's looking for is this. He's trying to show you that at the end, there's a benefit of doing this. And if I can show it to you that the total number of computation can shrink because you understand the logic behind it, and you understand the Bayesian update, then I think his videotape or whatever I compensate help you visualize the benefit. You're call it engineering management, industrial engineering, system engineering, I don't care. Sooner or later, you basically need to say what? I'm smarter than others. I can make a lot of messy stuff, organize and get to the number quick. Agree? And so, we basically need to say that, hey, is there an easy way to calculate this? Is there an easy way to understand this? That's what Bayesian network is really about. Okay? And philosophically, I can argue a few things about what is causal, and I'll give you guys a couple of things to think about why we're doing this. So basically, cause should happen at the beginning, effect should be after. Okay? So sequence, timing-wise, show hands. How many of you agree? Cause always happen before effect. True or not true? Show hands. Okay. Cause always happen. Yeah. You believe that, right? Yeah. And so, if I have something happen before something, then A happened before B, then A must be cause, B must be effect. True or not true? No. The rooster crow, the cuckoo, and the sunrise. Rooster crow before the sunrise because of the biological, the circadian rhythm of the rooster. So is the rooster crow the cause? Okay, so based on only that, something happened before something, is not good enough to say that's the case. So what will be important here is to show what? If they are relationship, something, if rooster crow, sun always rise, at least we know the rooster crow and sunrise are causal. There's some evidence because they are correlated. But have you ever heard the rooster crow and the sun already rise? Can a rooster crow after sunrise? And could a rooster crow in the middle of the night? Like over a rooster. And it could happen, right? But then you know that that's not true. And experimental design-wise is what? All other things are equal. You lock them, they're not moving, and then you see that if this happened and then that happened, then you have a more, philosophically, there are many different things for you to speculate. Hey, this thing should, G should be on the top, H should be at the bottom, or something. And his lecture notes actually show a lot of smoking, fire alarm, or that stuff, or the book showing that. And basically, they did, in the books, they did not argue with you, because they want to say that, oh, this is natural. But I'm trying to say that in the real world, there are a lot of examples that are not so natural. They just throw you the data. And in the old days, okay, if I taught this kind of class, guess what I put it in the exam? I put a bunch of random number in there. And then I come up with a really nice name for it. Remote sensing of yada yada. And then guess how many times the student will put that, Basically, I'm saying that when I do it here, I add a couple variable. is basically called nonsense variable. And then how many times the student will put a nonsense variable in the graph structure and come up with a really, really strong explanation. Say, oh, that's really important. Many, many times. Okay? And why I'm doing that, I'm just saying that, don't fall in love with your model. It's always nonsense potential there. Okay? That's the second thing you need to learn. I'm going to show you how to marginalize to do the computation and said that why sooner or later the computation, like here, this times this times this times this, I have a multiplication to deal with. But if I can say that, oh, all this are the same, so I can sum them up together first, and then use the sum to times this, or I can even have the sum of this block times the sum of this block. Whenever you can use summation to substitute the multiplication one by one, you reduce the computational time, you reduce the time to say what is good, what is bad. Okay? And that is the reason where that hot and sour soup, scary things coming back in. I actually, yes, Monday after I finished the class, my son drove me back home, so I kind of played with it, my laptop. And I did this one to show you what you should do if you really want to learn this stuff. Okay, is this. Okay, remember the other day I said that there are 3 different ways to calculate this ABC is not related. So I did a 3 different way. This is a hot and sour soup way. The hot and sour soup way is saying that given B, figure out AC is equal to B over C. Given B, C, and given B, A. This means what? PAC equal to PA times PC. That's independent. But I cannot be independent unless given B. So B pull B is the Indian food. A and C is a hot and sour. And so here I'm showing, see here, I have the A and C original. Oh, just lump B together and given A, lump B together, given C, and calculate the probability. And when I lump them together, I can at the end find that here is given B, given C, and calculate them independently. And here is what I did. So I show this equation is true. And I also did it this way. Knowing B, and I can figure out A, with or without C, I can know A exactly the same thing. Here is knowing B, I can know C, and with or without A, I will know the C the same way. So here I'm showing that, the same thing. At the end, red is red, red is red, to show that these 2 equations are equal. And why I'm doing that, I'm also trying to say that doing this, 1 divided by the marginal, 1 divided by the marginal, I have a division to take care of. But if I sum them together, hey, you 2 lump together, you 2 lump together. So I will have 4 summation. And after 4 summation, then I only have 4 divisions need to do. Here right now, you don't see the benefit because the situation is so simple. But later on, when I start adding more stuff together, and you will see the benefit. Okay? That's the reason I like this homework, but I think the homework they give you is, without let you think. Letting you should think a little bit. What is conditional independence, or what is these separations? Because that really is the way how to make these things easy to calculate. Because if we know how to do this, or using this principle, these separations, then sooner or later, the model computation will be a lot faster, okay? And I don't want you to copy my answer. I want you to play with it yourself. Because you can check and know the answer. It's a number comparison, no big deal. And the other thing I want you to think about, okay? If I have, say, 10 variables, I can put them anywhere, okay? Sure, the one on the top is the cause, the one at the bottom is the effect, okay? I can always do this, right? I said, oh, I have extra information here, okay? I add something extra in there. That should make you figure out the effect a lot quicker, or make you do the computation a lot easier. So sooner or later, you really get into this. Do I really need to have this variable? Do I really need to have this variable here? Can I get rid of certain things if I ask the right questions? So at the end, there are several things involved here. One is, after sign up, you're getting out.
Sorry?
So after you did you sign your name?
Yeah.
And after signature, you're leaving?
No, actually, I have class at Uptown by 5:30. Previously, I have
Okay,
let him know.
okay. Okay. So what is important here is to figure out this, okay? Sometimes I have one piece of evidence or cause. And for example, I have a hip fracture. X-ray, useful. CAT scan, useful. After that, ultrasound, MRI for soft tissue could be useful, but if I already figure out, hey, there is a fracture, do you really need to go for the other stuff? So the extra piece of evidence not going to provide any new support or let you know what's going on any more than what you already know. Then that will be the reason to get rid of some extra text. Okay? And on the effect part, okay? If I already know that you have, someone had pneumonia, fever, coughing, oozing, breathing was short. There are several things coming out. So by telling me something else, it's like, oh, the mucus color is very, very dark, or the mucus color is very, very light, and the mucus viscosity is high or low. If that can let me know that if the pneumonia is on the upper part of the lung or lower part of the lung, it's basically that support your speculation of what's going on. Then that's a useful extra piece of effect to collect. You guys follow me? So I know it's a probability game, but at the same time, it really starts thinking is that, I don't know if I ever said it in this class. Everybody talks about big data, cloud computing, okay? To me, big data is big maths. There's no benefit to deal with. You show me you have a big data, big deal. I don't care. What will be good is if I can use your big data and compress into a simple causal structure and say, this is the information, this is the intel in there, then I'll do it. But if you just show me that, I'm going to run all the SAS, all the R code I learned in the class and say that I don't really know what is this supply chain about, this product is all about. All I care about is that I'll have a bunch of output. This is in my capstone projects. You should be happy about it. Why should I? I don't learn anything from it, right? So the things that you guys need to go through the literature right now is, one, if I give you a bunch of probability, a 2 by 2, 2 by 3 table, and then I said that, okay, calculate all the probability based on the graph. That is lecture 11 to lecture 12, talking about a little bit. But I did not see he talked too much about how to marginalize. I will show you guys how to marginalize it maybe next time, but I don't want to do that until I see your homework of homework 6. If you guys have trouble to visualize what's conditional probability, then I'm just add confusion to confusion. It's useless. But if I can scan through and you guys can visualize this, then there's a benefit of doing that. Okay? So, okay. Tell me, what else you learned so far from Bayesian tools?
It's sort of logical thinking to arrange different bits of data.
It's about logic. If A, then B, then no B, then no A. That simple logic still apply to everything. Okay? And that's, there are, Russell, the British philosopher, in his mind, language or math, no difference. They're or and it's just logics. Okay? And can you tell me, are you working right now? Or
My work? Yes.
Okay, so give me a situation you encounter in your job and see if you can build a potential causal structure to figure out what's wrong. Can you do that?
Sure. My job is as a nurse, so
Mhm.
I have a lot of healthcare questions.
Okay.
Oftentimes it's I cut my finger and my
Well,
finger
what
hurts.
kind of area?
I've done gerontology, I've done home health.
Okay.
some
So
healthcare.
is the geriatrics patients mainly?
Right now it's usually disabled adults, but
Okay.
I've done a lot of gerontology.
Okay. And what I'm trying to say is that unfortunately I can't get out of situations.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you encounter a lot of that kind of?
We have, yeah.
Yeah. So I can talk about this because my mom just she's in Taipei, and recently she got up middle of the night and got a pretty bad bruise, and X-ray showed that their hairline potential hairline fracture. But you guys know hairlines. Okay, when you, especially female, 80, 90 after menopause, post osteoporosis, the bone is very spongy, and so it's very easy to have hairline here and there. To me, I think when you get old, your bone should look like a pretty bad windshield with a lot of spider web on it. So is it one hairline or two hairline? I don't know. And what's the really scary part about it is how likely some of those damage could be a major hip fracture at the end. It could happen, right? And so I think from nurses before and after, preventive and corrective maintenance, what can be done? How many of you think that drinking a cup of water before you sleep is a good idea for seniors?
No.
Seniors?
For senior? Why not?
No, because people who are older tend to have more urgency in the middle of the night, and their sensory faculties are much reduced. So
There
it
are
increases
yeah.
their increased potential for falling in the middle of the night because they have to get up and go to the bathroom.
they could out of balance because of they cannot recalibrate their osteo, what I'm trying to say is their balance. Okay, and I'm thinking about this is how many seniors we're going to have in the next 20 years, increase or decrease in our world?
Increase.
Dramatically. And how to provide the right support, senior safe environment, so the likelihood that they can go from bathroom back to their bedroom, or bathroom to kitchen when the floor changing, from carpet to hardwood, how easily they can maintain conscious under different situations, and if something bad happens, how quickly they can, ask for help. Okay, and do you think that some patient network could be used if this alarm is triggered, or I did not see certain movement after a certain time, then I should check something else. If I don't see A, I don't see B, I don't see C, that's sufficient enough for human nurse to involve to give the senior a call and say, hey, how's everything? How come you did not use the bathroom this morning? How come you did not do something accordingly? So, no, I'm not saying this for nursing. I think there are a lot of opportunities. You think hard, okay? How to figure out this logics under different sensing, different data. There are money in there, okay? If you guys want to say, I want to do a capstone project, software, hardware, organize things together, I want to become millionaire, to have a big company, what are you, can you provide a service or something? Other people will say, man, how come I didn't something like that, okay? So don't treat this as a bunch of probability, yada, yada. Yeah, I know it's 1 divided by 8, who cares? But when you organize it together, there's something fun to do, okay? I hope I motivate you to read his lecture notes and the chapter 1 and chapter 2, a little more detail, okay? Okay, any more questions? Otherwise, adios. Pretty good. Huh?
My name is Alex, distance education.
Right, but I did upload the,
I see them now.
yeah, so what I'm saying is that you should have enough time to catch up.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. My question is, you said there's no final.
Yeah, because
Is there any more tests?
I don't think I want to do more tests, because I would rather figure out 1 or 2 homework based on
So homework 6, maybe homework
7 or homework 8, yeah, or take home homework. Yeah, to do this kind of stuff,
starting like this, I mean, I can look it back up, I'm sure.
yeah,
It took a lot of effort for him to get us.
yeah.
But I don't understand why he didn't give anybody a notice.
I don't know. I was kind of like, hey, last minute, and I couldn't even find anybody to step in. So
Yes. I'll step in. I'll do it.
yeah, okay, yeah. So no, I don't have a plan. If I give a final exam, I don't have enough interaction with the student. I don't know what will be the proper level to test. But homework, at least I would say that if I want to claim enough patient, what kind of logic you guys see?
6 for sure, so it's due on the 27, possibly 8.
Right.
No additional tests.
Yeah.
That's good. Maybe, I don't know, I can message everybody.
Yeah, please.
You want me
No,
to-
yeah, sure. Yeah, I didn't even know, sorry, because he had a combine of,
My previous ones have been combined, 501,
Yeah.
502.
yeah, I don't know why he separated them. So when I uploaded, they all got the videotape. And then when I start seeing more than one people saying, he disappeared. And I said, no, I step in. I did not know you guys don't have the,
Yeah, no, but he didn't even, I rewatched the last lecture, he didn't even say this is my last lecture, so something must have happened very quickly, didn't he? He had to
Yeah,
leave, I don't
yeah.
know what the illustrations.
well, we'll survive.
We'll survive, that's right. Thank you so much.
I was coming up to say, and then I will on.
Okay, congratulations. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, if, I don't know, okay, later on, if you feel like it, show me a picture of you and your, we're at DC, should be our, the newlywed, and we conquer the world, that kind of stuff.
Here he is.
He's a handsome guy.
He's a good one. He's a nerd. He's a good little nerd. Here I am.
Well, you're a nerd.
I am a nerd. But here, I'll show you a picture from